White House release published Thursday, January 8, 2026. Fact sheet: President Donald J. Trump establishes new Department of Justice Division for National Fraud Enforcement. Today, the Trump administration announced the creation of a new Department of Justice Division focused on national fraud enforcement. This division will enforce federal criminal and civil laws against fraud targeting government programs, federally funded benefits, businesses, nonprofits, and private citizens across the country. An assistant attorney general will lead this division. The role includes overseeing investigations and prosecutions of fraud affecting the federal government and private citizens. The assistant attorney general will coordinate with U.S. attorneys, federal agencies, and other department components to identify and dismantle organized fraud schemes. The position will also help set enforcement priorities and propose reforms to close vulnerabilities and prevent future abuses. The Department of Justice is actively investigating fraud in Minnesota programs such as Feeding Our Future, Housing Stabilization Services, and Early Intensive Developmental and Behavioral Intervention. DOJ lawyers are prosecuting the Evergreen Recovery Medicaid fraud case. 98 defendants have been charged in Minnesota fraud cases, with 64 convictions so far. The DOJ has issued over 750 subpoenas, executed more than 130 search warrants, and conducted over 1,000 witness interviews in these investigations. Prosecution resources in Minnesota have doubled. The Federal Bureau of Investigation is investigating dozens of healthcare and home care providers in Minnesota for fraud. The FBI is using forensic accountants and data analytics teams and is also investigating possible links to elected officials and terrorist financing. The Department of Homeland Security has sent about 2,000 agents to Minnesota for targeted investigations. DHS has arrested over 1,000 criminal illegal aliens in recent weeks. As part of Operation Twin Shield, DHS identified more than 1,300 fraud findings in Minneapolis and St. Paul and is reviewing cases for further action. The Department of Health and Human Services has frozen childcare payments nationwide and now requires documentation for all childcare-related payments. HHS is enforcing a federal law requiring immigration sponsors to repay Medicaid benefits used by sponsored immigrants. HHS is also investigating Minnesota's Head Start programs for alleged fraud by illegal aliens. The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services have paused Medicaid payments to 14 Minnesota programs flagged for fraud until claims can be verified. HHS has also cut off $10 billion in funding to 5 states, including Minnesota. The Small Business Administration has stopped all annual grant payments to Minnesota and suspended 6,900 borrowers due to $400 million in suspected fraud. These individuals are banned from future loan programs. The Department of Housing and Urban Development has sent a team to Minnesota to investigate possible housing assistance fraud. The Department of Labor is reviewing Minnesota's unemployment insurance program. The Department of Agriculture has required Minnesota to recertify SNAP recipients to ensure compliance with eligibility rules. Thanks for listening. The full source material for this summary is in the description below.